It was a beautiful day. All the engines were at the docks. Sir Topham Hatt was at the docks too. He had an announcement for the engines. Today, our new engine is to arrive to the island this afternoon. He is very inexperienced. At least, that's what I know of. Do you know anything about him, sir? No, I do not know anything about him, not even his appearance. Inexperienced? It must be a tank engine. No, not exactly, Gordon. It could be even maybe a diesel. I hope not. We have enough diesels already. Look, said Edward. The freighter, it's here. Indeed, it was the new engine's arriving ship. Wooden Railway Only Productions, in association with Thomas the Tank Engine and Friends, Tales from the Rails, proudly presents Operation Domination. Once the ship had docked, Cranky's crane was soon attached to the engine inside the freighter, and soon enough, the engine was revealed to the public. The engine dangled from Cranky's crane. He didn't like it, and he was excited to get onto the rails. What? A tender engine? Inexperienced? It's possible, exclaimed Edward, because we all were at one point. Quite right, replied Henry, remembering the time he got locked up in a tunnel. Once the engine was unloaded, he introduced himself to all the engines. Hello, I'm Big City Engine. Glad to be part of your railway. Hello, replied all the engines. Nice to meet you. Not to be rude, exclaimed Percy, but is your name really Big City Engine? Yes, I was. I was never actually given a proper name. For short, people like to call me BCE, so can you. Well, it's a pleasure for us to have you on our railway. Please, have Thomas show you around. Okay, said Thomas. Let's go. I have so much to show you. And so the two puffed out of the docks. What a kind engine. Yes, he may be inexperienced on rail riding, but definitely not in manners. Meanwhile, Thomas was showing BCE around the island. You have such kind manners. I'm so fond of you already. Thanks. It's just polite to have manners and helps you with new friends. Thomas laughed. He hadn't seen such a character in years. Soon, Thomas and BCE arrived at the airport. Here's the airport, exclaimed Thomas, where many passengers arrived to the island. Jeremy is at the mainland collecting passengers right now. Just as Thomas had said his words, Norman came racing by. A sea of diesels. Are they friendly? Some are evil. As in the legend of Diesel 10. He's still on our railway. Just, he's completely forgotten about Lady after his tremendous fall. No, don't go reminding him, said Thomas sarcastically. To BCE, they both started to laugh and puffed away. They rounded a bend to have Thomas find, hey look, there's some more other engines in the yards. Come on, let's go meet them. And so they did. Ha 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 ha, said a voice behind Jeremy's hangar. Looks like Operation Domination is a go. And with that, the oily voice strolled down the line. Thomas and BCE finished their tour at the bay. Hey, good question, asked Thomas. I thought Topham had said you were inexperienced. That is quite true. I am inexperienced with coaches and trucks and everything like that, but I know how to ride the rails. Here, I'll give you a whistle. And he did. You're such a kind engine, said Thomas. Come on, let's get back to the sheds. Just then, BCE had a question. Hey, what are those buffers doing over there? They're serving nothing at all. Oh, you know, said Thomas, just a sighting. That's all. He gulped nervously. BCE didn't believe Thomas, but he decided just to go along with it. He knew Thomas was lying by the tone of his voice. Okay, just asking some more questions about the railway. And so they went back to the sheds. When Thomas and BCE arrived back at the sheds, they found a lavishing surprise. Welcome, BCE, exclaimed all the engines. Oh, said BCE, this is much too spoiling. You guys shouldn't have. Certainly must not. Just then, Thomas realized there was a berth left in the sheds. Here, BCE, let that be you. BC turned on the turntable and rolled into the sheds, finding it very comfortable. Thanks, everyone, he exclaimed. But let's get a good night's sleep. Tomorrow, we can get to work. So everybody obeyed, except Percy. He had to go pull the mail that night. That night, Percy took the mail. He complained to himself, I do not want to see Spancam. I do not want to see Spancam. He went up the mine tunnel up to the viaduct to find over in the corner. He saw two mischievous diesels. Must be brave, said Percy. Must be brave. I wonder what they're doing here. Sir, how's the plan going so far? Just fine. We haven't really kicked into full effect yet. We'll get them soon enough. Operation Domination will be a success. That's all right, sir, replied the two. Must be brave, said Percy, but he couldn't take it. And with that, he stormed off the viaduct. Meanwhile, Stepney was returning home. He had went on the wrong points and went into the Bay Area to find Splatter, Dodge, and D199 there. Hey, it's an engine. Get him! Oh, said the Splatter and Dodge. Go, go, go! Stepney raced back, and the two diesels chased after him. Stepney raced backwards. He was scared to get caught, and the two diesels raced after. Lucky enough, the signalman was still awake and divided Stepney into another line, as the two diesels hit the points wrong and came off the track. Soon, their boss arrived. You buffoons! How could you let him get away? Sorry, boss, he said. The points were switched somehow. There must be some signalman awake. The signal box light turned off as soon as Splatter and Dodge said that. That could have been our first capture, said the oily voice. All right, we shall find him again. Come on, I'll get you back onto the rails. The next morning came and Percy came to the sheds. You're never going to believe what happened last night, said Percy to all the other engines. What? Asked Thomas. I saw Splatter, Dodge, and D199 over near the magic buffers. What, Percy? That's impossible. You must have had a hallucination from the night before. This is all your imagination. You know those guys aren't on the railway. But they are. I truly saw them. I saw them chase after Stepney. Said Thomas. I'll go ask Stepney right away. Make sure everybody else stays here, because the other engines were still asleep. Thomas found Stepney at Elsbridge Station, and he asked him the question. Stepney, did anything happen weird last night? Said Stepney. Yes, something did. Splatter and Dodge are on the railway, as well as D199. I'm not sure where they are, but they were over near the bay. Oh, said Thomas. Percy was right. You must not tell anybody about this. You must not let them freak out. Agreed, said Stepney. I haven't told anybody. But did Percy tell you? He came rushing into the sheds. Luckily, none of the other engines heard. Suddenly, an eavesdropper came in. D199 on the railway. Ha! That's preposterous. Sent away a long time ago. Probably scrapped. Would you want to be too? Be quiet, Diesel 10. We all know you wouldn't scrap us now. I have no idea what happened that one time. That magical engine is probably still out there. I must have my memory erased or something like that. You're probably right, said Thomas. Diesel 10 went away. He is right, said Thomas. His memory was erased by Lady. Oh, said Stepney. That explains a lot. Indeed it does. Remember, make sure no one else finds out about this. And Thomas went to his regular jobs. Thomas came over to the Bay Area. He puffed near the buffers. He was about to enter, not knowing somebody stood by. Let's find out about what happens here. Thomas quickly puffed through the buffers and disappeared. Thomas came into the Magic Railroad to meet Lady there. Oh, Lady, am I glad to see you. I'm glad to see you too, Thomas. Some evil force is trying to take over. I believe it's D199, Splatter, and Dodge. I erased their memories before as they tried to take it over. I remembered. They did slam you into the water. That is true, said Thomas. But how did they arrive here? Where did they come from? The other railway buffers, of course. They somehow found them over there. Said Thomas. How did they find them, though? That's the question. They must have spent years thinking about this. thinking of where they could find the buffers here and there and how to do this. I agree, said Lady, but you'd best be careful and you best be back. I bet you D199's right around the corner from where you are. He's probably watching you with a close eye. You're right, said Thomas. I'll get back. Anyways, I gotta get to work. Thanks for talking, Lady. And with that, Thomas returned. I fear this magic railroad may be endangered. Welcome to the team, George. See that blue tank engine over there? He's the #1 problem that we have. We must search and find him, then destroy him. He's the one that could stop our plans. Alright, I'll get ready to ruin some rails. Ha ha ha. Operation Domination is even better than what I thought.